Hello, everybody. Welcome to Very Connected Podcast. Say hello if you're joining us. Let us know you're with us. And today, Larissa, I'm just super excited. We had an event scheduled way back, and we had technical difficulties. That was back in September, I think. And we have been planning this for some time. So I'm super excited. We have Larissa Krebbs, also known as Rissy Roo on both Instagram, TikTok, and she's on Facebook as well. And she is a digital creator that shares her story. She had gastric bypass surgery back in 2021 and started sharing her story 2022, Larissa. Is that right?
Yeah, like August of 22, I think. Yeah.
And I'm just so happy you're here with us. She has been a ProCare supporter all along, which ProCare is our sponsor. And so at this point, Larissa, I'm going to kind of mute myself for just a second. I'm going to allow you to say hello to all these wonderful, wonderful that are joining. Guys, in the chat if you're on the live event, whether you're on Facebook or Zoom here. And Larissa, just go right.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. Oh, I saw someone from Wisconsin. Hello. All right, guys. I'm going to be here with Brenda today. We're going to kind of talk about my life and my journey a little bit and what led me to right here, right now. I know Brenda and I will kind of go over some things, but I'll just kind of give you a little backstory. So my highest recorded weight that I ever had, I started at 408 pounds. It's so crazy when I say it out loud, but my story starts from when I was a child. So I've been overweight since I was a child. Like, let me tell y'all, when I was in fourth grade, I remember getting on the scale and I weighed 180 pounds. And I'll never forget that. That really just ingrains in your brain, you know? But I started gaining weight really rapidly around 5 or 6 years old. And I see a lot of people tell me they have issues with their children. And so that breaks my heart that they're going through that with their kids, because I know it really bothered my mom a lot when I was a kid. But of course, I did all the dieting and everything. I remember doing Weight Watchers at 8, 9 years old. Now that I'm a 30-year-old woman, when I think about doing Weight Watchers at 8, 9 years old, I'm like, no, it's crazy. But anyway, yeah, so I just continued the obesity. I just continued to struggle throughout my entire life until I'll never forget one day stepping on the scale. And like I said, I saw that 408 pounds. And that's when I decided enough's enough and we're going to start this journey. So, yeah. But
So what made you decide to start sharing? Like start sharing your story?
Okay, so I was a follower for a long, long time. Like, I was on TikTok when we were going through the pandemic and watching people, and I loved seeing people's stories because they inspired and motivated me. It really kind of helped me be like, I want that. I want a story, you know, I want my own journey. And I realized I never really, because I had over 220 pounds that I had to lose. It seemed like a mountain I was never going to reach the top of. I was like, that is insane. That's not possible. And I just remember kind of seeking out, like, are there other people out there that have done this, to give myself kind of some hope and motivation. And I mean, it's not, they're out there, but it's not a whole lot. And I thought, you know what? I want to share my journey, because I remember sitting on that couch right here. I remember sitting there feeling hopeless and like it was never going to happen. And it was happening. And I just wanted to share that with somebody. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it, because somebody else who needs to lose the crazy amount of weight that I need to lose maybe can find hope and inspiration to start their own journey. So that's why I wanted to do it. So I wanted to share it, because I knew how hopeful I started feeling, and I wanted to give that hope to somebody else, that it was possible.
Well, and I think when we see somebody else who has been able to do something that almost seems like incredibly impossible to us, it does give us hope, because if somebody else has done it, you can do it too. You know, it's one of
Yes.
those things, and it helps put you in more of a belief state. You know, I think that that's part of the journey of all of this. It's maintaining too, because you're a few years out now, and I
Yeah.
know for myself, I'm 10 years plus out, and I know how hard it can be when you're getting in those stages. It's not just about
Oh, yeah.
losing the weight, you know, and so that's kind of like what we're going to be talking about a little bit today.
Yes.
Like, what it's been like for you
Yes.
over these years. Because, to me, the first year, the weight, I mean, seamlessly almost just kind of fell off. It was really mindless. Like I didn't really even have to think about it very much.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the beginning, in terms of losing weight, it was so much easier. And I'm going to say this for anybody that's considering bariatric surgery, if you follow through and do decide that is your path that you need to take, because it's not for everybody, and that's totally understandable. But if it is your path you choose to take, my suggestion, and this is what I did, give yourself 1 year. Okay. 1 year, be strict. I know people are like, what? I don't want to. I'm just telling you, that first year, you're going to lose the most weight you've ever lost in your entire life. Give yourself that 1 year. I trust you. Trust me. It's so worth it. I'm glad I did it because it helped me shed. Like, I think I did forget that first year. I probably lost like 180 pounds. I don't even remember. Just do it. Okay. Um, but yeah, weight loss was a lot easier in the beginning, and it gets harder and harder as you get out. I hit my goal weight back in April, and I felt like I was never going to hit it. Those last some pounds, they are so hard to lose, especially when you get closer to where your body wants to stay and maintain. It gets really hard. But ever since April, see, I've never like hit my goal weight, if you will. Like I said, I've been overweight since I was a child. So and I've gained and I've lost, and I'm talking gaining and lost over hundreds and hundreds of pounds through those years until up till now. And I never ever could maintain the weight that I lost. Never. I think it was 2017. I had almost 100-pound weight loss. I gained it all back and more. And then I ended up getting over the 400 pounds finally. So this has been a journey just from April to now, learning to maintain. I don't know how to maintain. It's kind of scary, to be honest. In my opinion, from my journey, maintaining has been harder than losing the 220 pounds. It's a whole nother journey in and of itself. It's not easy at all. Once you hit that goal, at least this is how I felt. I was like, oh, I did it. We can undo the notch on the belt. We're good now. No, you can't do that. I mean, you have a little bit more wiggle room and freedom, but I mean, you still got to be careful. And I mean, this is a lifelong journey. It doesn't stop once you hit the goal weight. And I think a lot of people can attest and agree that maintenance is hard. So,
Well, and I think too, it's where our body finds a happy spot too. And
yes.
our bodies are like there. It is miraculous, guys. I think our bodies they follow not only it's almost like its own consciousness. Like you think your brain is up here in your mind, but I feel like you have as much brain in your finger as you do in the rest. Like everything, your body is miraculous, and it listens to you. And so, like when we kind of get to these set points and stuff, and we think we can't do that something, guys, you have to remember you can reset anything. You can reset your mind each day and say, you know what, I'm starting new. It's going to be okay. I'm going to let go of these fears because that's what happens. These fears creep in and they can like start running your life again. Like they can, like the fears from the past. And I know I've been there many, many times. I have to remind myself that this last year has been kind of a journey for me. I'm 10 years out, and I decided to myself that this last year was going to be a reset for myself. And I reached out. I knew what I needed to do to kind of like get back on track. I knew that I needed to like be looking at certain things like my nutrition, um, activity. I needed to be, and I also wanted to, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna drop my pride and like go to a provider and ask for help. So I actually started on some of the semi-glutenide medication and hormone replacement therapy. For me, those two things have been somewhat key to getting back on track. So I'm almost back to where I was. I had gained back about 30 pounds and I have lost 35 now, these last 6 months. So I'm right back to where almost to like where my ultimate goal was, which is 145, almost back to that. So I'm telling you though, it's been like working on my own, like what Larissa, what you're saying. So not to take away, let's talk
No.
about, let's kind of jump in. Like,
Yeah, I wanted
mm,
to touch on that. Thanks for sharing that, Brenda. I think it's good for people to know that just because you gain some weight back doesn't mean we stop. You can always go back and reset. And I kind of actually started doing that myself. I made a video about it. Some of you may or may have not seen it, But you guys know I was going through like a grieving process, and going through that caused me to get back into some of those old habits, binge eating, emotional eating, and I was given back into all those. And then you know what happens when we do that sometimes? Well, we fell off the wagon. Might as well just keep on it. And we self-sabotage. And I had been doing that. It is never too late to restart. I don't care how far off the path you get back on that wagon. It's okay. And I'm restarting myself. I recently just decided I'm restarting my weight loss journey. I'm trying to lose another 20 to 30 pounds. It is never too late. Just once you realize, stop, get back on. Just don't continue it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Because, and you know what I found? We did a support group this, I guess, was Thursday of this last week, and that one was on the same topic. So
Yeah.
weight maintenance and regain. And Kayla Gergen was on there with me, and we had one slide that was we were talking about, the reasons for weight regain. And guys, it's so individual. It's not a one size fits all. A lot of times we think like you think, oh, it's just because I'm eating too much. It may not be. It may be like a whole myriad of things. It could be sleep. It could be physical activity. It could be hormones. It could be nutrition. It could be your activity. It could be maybe your anatomy. Like, some people go back in for revisional therapy, like revisional surgeries and things like that because maybe their anatomy has changed or maybe you have some anatomical issues. So sometimes, getting your surgeon involved. So it is not just one thing. It is like you have to look at the total picture. And sometimes when you're blindsided, you can't always see it because you're so used to doing what you're doing and you've developed these habits over time. Larissa, I do want to give you credit though. What you said a while ago really resonated well with me. And before I worked with ProCare, I worked at a bariatric surgery program for about 8 years as a coordinator and seeing lots of people going through the same things that we're going through, right now. One thing that really hits strong, that first year, guys, like really, 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 really look at what you're doing, like your
Yes.
lifestyle, because it's easy. I want to say it's easy, but it's easier because you're seeing progress. You're seeing all of these major changes happen so quickly. And sometimes you forget you still need to develop a lifestyle that's like a lifelong lifestyle. That's why like you got to make it something that you can do long term. Wouldn't you say,
Yes.
Larissa?
Yeah, and going back to that year, I created all brand new habits, and I have kind of carried those over. While I did start getting back into old habits, I've recently gone back to those new, good, improved habits that I built within that first year. So, yeah, yes, I would agree with that.
So why do you think that you personally, like your own journey, why do you think you decided on weight loss surgery as
Oh,
opposed to something else?
yeah, that's a great question. So, like many of you, I'm sure I've tried every diet you can think of. Okay. Atkins, Nutrisystem, like I told you, Weight Watchers. I've done Adipex. I did it all. And like I said, I struggled with my weight since I was 5, 6 years old. And then, like I said, I had thought about weight loss surgery probably when I was in my early, because I'm 30 now, when I was in my early 20s, and I kind of started out, well, insurance wouldn't cover it. So I was like, oh, that's off the table. And that's when I had seen 300 pounds for the first time. I was like, whoa, babe, we got to stop this train where it's at. It scared me. But I just continued on. And then, like I said, I'll never forget the day, February in 2020, right before we like knew about the pandemic. That's when I went to the doctor and saw 408 pounds on the scale. And that is scared me real bad, like real bad. I was like, am I going to make it to 30 at this point? Because you always told yourself, I'm never going to see 200 pounds. I'm never going to see 300 pounds. I'm never going to see 400 pounds. And then it's staring me in the face. And then I told myself, I had a real big conversation with myself. I said, okay, you said you never see 400 pounds. There it is. What's next? 500, 600 pounds? I was like, you're not going to make it. It scared me real bad. So my doctor's office has a nutritionist. So I started seeing her, and she brought up the idea, and I had weight loss surgery in the back of my mind, but I had listened to all those stereotypes and the stigma behind it. You know what I mean? I always had those in the back of my mind, and I was a little fearful of it too. I'll be honest with you. But I met with her, and we kind of got myself on a new lifestyle, got my calories and everything, and then she finally brought up that idea to me. She said, "Have you thought about weight loss surgery?" And I said, "Yeah." I mean, I've thought about it, and she had dealt with people that she had sent on to have weight loss surgery, and kind of told me about their success and stories. And then I just started doing the research of it, and I decided that, to me, weight loss surgery, for me anyway, it was the last resort to save my life, and I knew I had to do something right then to save my life, and never regret it. Never, ever, ever will I regret it. So it
So
just,
you
I
kind of
was.
bring up like, yeah, you bring up such a great idea because there's people that's asking here in the chat box.
Okay.
Like some of them say they need to hear this now. Stress you can regain. Somebody else says, what should we do? What should we do? To me, it's individualized. For you at the time, whenever that hit, like you were already starting to do things. But guys, sometimes you're intuitively guided to do the things that you need to do for you because everybody's a little different. Like, what would you say that looks like for you? Like, what would you say it looks for you right now to start
To start again,
kind of a
to
reset? Yeah, like
reset.
a
Yeah, I
reset.
saw
Because
someone
some people
ask
are
that, and I like
asking.
that question earlier too. Okay, so like you said, it is individual, but for me, I know what I was doing, what I've been doing wrong. So for me, go back to the basics. So make a lot of times we hit our goal weight and we stop counting calories. We stop paying attention to the protein. We stop paying attention to the water. That's what happened for me. So me, back to the basics. I go back to tracking my calories, making sure I'm getting the protein, making sure I'm hitting the water. And I go back to some of those meals and stuff that I was consuming that helped me be successful. So that's what it looked like for me to reset. A lot of people think like, you reset and then you feel all this restriction and stuff again. It doesn't really work like that. And so some people do liquid diets or something like that. That's not even about anything except getting right up here. You have to get back right up here because it all starts here. But like you did say, Brenda, there are certain factors in individuals that can affect more so than just their calories, protein, and water, hormonal, and that is true, things like that. But for me, I know that wasn't the case. And if you're like me and you know that's not the case, get it right up here first. Go back to the basics. What you were doing that first year, you were being really strict. That's what I'm doing. That's what it looks like for me.
Yeah.
And I'm
I mean,
moving my body.
what does
So,
this mean? Like you're
like,
talking about your mindset,
your
right?
mindset. Yeah. You're
Yes. Like
get
tell
it
me
up
what
here.
that looks like for you. Like I can tell
Yeah.
you what it looks like for me, but tell me what that looks like for you.
Yeah. So, for me, my mindset is just like, um, stopping the binge eating, stopping the emotional eating, and then kind of like, why am I wanting to emotionally eat? Work on those emotions. Don't go to food, go to something else. Like that to me, my mindset is, and the quit self-sabotaging, like I was saying, because like I said earlier, you fall off that wagon, you're like, I've already messed up, might as well mess up again. No, you don't. Just like some people will have a splurge meal and mess up and then just continue the whole day because they felt bad about doing that. Get it right up here, get that mindset back to where your mindset was when you were successful. That's kind of what it
100%.
is
I
for me.
know Kathy's saying she says everybody needs to do the hard work of identifying their why, the deep down reason. I mean, obviously that is important because what what motivates you, what is, and if you need help with that, like finding someone like either a coach or a dietitian or your bariatric team or primary care or whoever it is. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I think we're just led to the people or like looking at people like you, Larissa, listening to these kind of events because sometimes just hearing a little inspiration for me, like how I've worked on getting my mindset back in a better
Yeah.
place is like believing in myself a little more, like
Yeah.
listening to people that inspire me, listening to podcasts, listening to um the things that I need to do to give myself confidence. And I want to say too, you use the word sabotage, and some of you who may have been on some of my events before, to me, the word sabotage to me feels like it's hurtful. And I think really and truly sabotage is more self-protection too, because what we're
Yeah.
doing is, yeah, like we're protecting ourselves. Like maybe it's because we're fearful. Like if you have a really strong fear of gaining the weight back, what you're doing is you're protecting yourself somehow. Now, how does that work
Yeah.
against, like, how does that protection work against us? Well, if we think like in our minds that we can't be successful and that we're going to be there's no way that that'll work, that we're going to gain our weight back. Guys, that's what you're telling yourself. Your body is going to like go into a mode of protecting yourself to be self-actualize that. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, that's
it's
a good
more of a
point.
protection mechanism.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you are what you are what you think, whether it's if you think that you're successful, you're going to be successful. If you think that you're a failure, you're going to be what you think. So like
Yeah,
be
that's a good
careful.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll resonate with somebody out there because it is, I mean, it can be. And like too, it doesn't have to be hard. I know we tell ourselves that it is, but really and truly it can be as simple as we want it to be. It's just about making the decision that, you are going to have this as your new lifestyle,
Yeah.
that it's already happened. You're already there. It's actualized. You're already healed. You're already, I don't know.
Yes. And I love that you said, you find inspiration like through other people and stuff. I do the same thing. People still inspire me. People tell me, "Oh, you inspire me." Well, people inspire me. A lot of my followers inspire me with their stories and motivate me. You know what I mean? So I like that. You said find somebody that helps kind of give you that little push, that motivation by maybe hearing their story or their journey. That's a good point. I like that. And then somebody you said mentioned, you got to find your why. And that is definitely a big motivating factor too. I know like for me, my real big why reason for losing the weight and want to get weight loss surgery, like I said, I wanted to have kids and it was just not possible at 408 pounds. It just wasn't, and then I wanted to go to Disney and I wanted to get on the rides and I couldn't walk around Disney at 408 pounds. So definitely that was a good one. Remember your why to kind of give you that motivation back, why you did it or why you
A
want to
hundred,
do it.
how, yes, how you want to, and the motivation coming from other people. This is another thing we've kind of talked about in recently, is the like when you see pictures of other people, guys, don't use it as a comparison for yourself. Just use it to motivate you in the right reasons,
Yeah.
to help you move forward and know that what is possible. Because what happens is sometimes we get stuck in the groove of like the comparison, and there's no, your direction is your direction.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own challenges. Like you may look at somebody else's life and think their life is perfect, but everybody has their own things. There
I
is
agree
a
with that.
question. Let's see. It says, this is in the Q&A box. Can you explain reset as going back to basic nutrition movement as opposed to dieting, shakes and such? Thank you. So you kind of talked a little bit about this before, and maybe this was a comment, but any any other thoughts on that?
Uh, can you repeat that? I guess I didn't understand.
Yeah. The question is, it's from Teresa. Can you explain reset as going back to basic nutrition and movement as
Oh,
exposed opposed to dieting, shakes and such? Thank you.
so when I'm talking about going back to the basics in terms of like nutrition is just like going, like I said, go back to like meals and stuff that I consumed when I was losing weight and not snacking. That's not on my meal plan is the snacking. So just if you had lost weight prior and you were following a plan, like for me, I'll give you an example. This does not mean this is what everybody else is supposed to do. This is what I do, but it doesn't mean it works for everybody. It doesn't mean it's what you're supposed to do. I want to make sure people know that. Like I start out my morning with a protein coffee. That gives me so much coffee or protein. And then I have my breakfast and then I have my lunch and then I have my dinner and I may or may not have a snack. But, so I just make sure I go back to that. I follow the calories that I was given, the protein that I was given, the water goal that I was given, and not stray from that. So that's what I mean by going back to the basics in terms of my nutrition, if you will, like back to those goals that I was given and not
Thank you.
stray
That's
from
so
those.
helpful. There's a couple more questions on Facebook here. Wendy says, I have a question. I have a problem that if I'm not hungry, I don't eat, but then I end up gaining weight. Why is that? So she's asking that I have a problem that if I'm not hungry, I don't eat, but then I end up gaining weight. So more or less what she's saying is that um maybe she's waiting to eat until she's hungry, or
And then,
she's
yeah,
not hungry. And I know we all have struggled with that.
yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, but for me, if I had to think about it, if it were me, Maybe it could be because when you do decide to eat, you're really, really, really hungry, and then you're eating excessive amounts of calories or something. I don't know. Or, sometimes okay, I'm going to tell you, I've struggled with my weight. All right. And I struggled when I was a teenager, and it really led me to having an eating disorder, specifically when I was in high school. You know how the high school mean girls can be, especially when you don't look like them. And it led me to literally, I just would not eat. And guess what? I never lost weight. I ended up starting to gain it. Your body holds on to it. Because if you're in like starvation mode, your body will literally hold on to everything for dear life. And then, and then when you do eat, it's going to reserve all that. So you have to eat and get those calories. So that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, I went through similar things, but it kind of stinks when you don't feel hungry. I don't have
Yeah,
that
and I think
problem.
when you think too, I think too, it's about feeling really good about what you are eating, like food becoming your friend and
Yes.
using it as fuel. Because what happens is
Yes.
when our emotional states get up really like spike up, and we're really supercharged on feeling like guilty or
Yeah.
um like upset when we are eating, like your body's listening to all of that. I know there's another comment too. Nancy says, don't know if this is true, but I've been told our minds can only process one thought at a time. This has helped me to keep my mindset in check. So it kind of goes back to that. And that's true. I've heard that too before. Like it's hard to be like really truly happy about something and be sad
Yeah.
about something at the same time. Like you're either
Oh, yeah.
so like if you can find a way to kind of bring your emotional state kind of more in check or neutralize it a little bit so that it's
Yeah.
not so.
Think those
Mm,
positive thoughts, try to cast those negative ones out. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So Melissa says, I've considered weight loss surgery, but I haven't had it. For me, I worry that if I could do these things consistently, now I
I
wouldn't
love
be
that.
in a position to consider this. Does this make sense? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yes, 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 yes. So, okay, I told you, and I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. You have to do what is right for you. Like I said, weight loss surgery is not for everybody. I'm just going to speak from personal experience why it was right for me. And my experience, somebody else may relate or they may not. I told you I have lost weight lots of times, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, well before I had the tool of weight loss surgery. And I never, like I said, I never could maintain it. But the problem was I'd be doing so, 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 so good. And I don't know how much weight you have to lose, but a lot of us that have excess amount of weight to lose, it's really hard. And the statistics aren't that great, just being honest. They're really not if you have lots and lots of weight to lose. But you do really, 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 really good. Okay. And just like even with weight loss surgery, you hit a stall. Okay. You hit a stall. And then it's really hard to get over that stall. And that's what I think a lot of people who try to do it that way, you're going to find you're going to hit that stall. But and I'm going to tell you this too. Yes, it's fantastic. You're creating those healthy habits and things like that. That is wonderful that you need to take with you throughout your journey. And there's a lot of people that are successful without weight loss surgery. That's just the truth of the matter. But for me, it's a tool that I always have and always will have because I had problems with self-control and like you get what I'm saying? Like when I'm eating, like just stopping and it physically makes me stop. That's why I'm glad I have it. But I understand what she's saying. If I could just continue these things and a lot and some people can, but some people like me, I never could. I told you I lost 100 pounds. I did everything I was supposed to do. I was working with a personal trainer and then my weight loss just stopped. It wouldn't move. It didn't matter how many times I went to the gym, if I was hitting those calories, it didn't matter. And I think a lot of people hit this wall and then we start backsliding. So yeah, that's my experience with not having that tool of weight loss surgery. You're good until you're not good sometimes. That's just my
And
thoughts.
two, like, yeah, two, it's like, and I've asked myself that many times too, is how is weight loss surgery different from just doing all the consistent lifestyle changes? And how it
Yeah.
is different, guys, it does act a couple different ways. Some coming from a professional standpoint, I mean,
Yes.
it does help limit your portions so that you're not as hungry.
Mhm.
And initially too, there are some hormones that it does affect. gremlin and leptin and some other things that are stomach
Yep.
hormones. So it can help with that,
Yep.
like not being as hungry. Another thing is depending on the surgery you have, it can help with absorption of the nutrients. And that's why, um, nutrition can be really important, like the things you are putting into your body and maybe
Yep.
vitamins. There is a question here about vitamins. Larissa, do you take vitamins? If so, what kind? I was told it's important to take them, but I don't know what to take.
Yeah, I had gastric bypass and I take the ProCare Health has the prenatal bariatric vitamins and I take two of those once a day. But before I was trying to conceive, I just took the regular, I think it's the one a day, right, Brenda?
We
I
do.
took that
ProCare does
one.
have a one a day also. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I used to take the
share
one a
the link
day.
after. I can share the link here in just a little bit on that,
Yeah, and
to
then
kind of share it with you guys.
I take calcium too. So I love ProCare's they have salted caramel and cinnamon roll. Well, they have way more than that, but those are my favorite. The cinnamon roll, let me tell you, chef's kiss delicious. I like those chews. And then they have the calcium dark chocolate bars. Those are really chef's kiss. I love those. So that's what I do for calcium. But the I also my vitamins have iron in them because I'm an anemic girly over here. So I take mine. Mine have quite a bit of iron in them. But yes, you're supposed to take your vitamins, babes.
Well,
Make sure
and
to do
two,
that. You'll feel
depending
better.
on, well, and no matter how far out you are, it is recommended. Like even if you're, some people think like that first year, every program is a little different, though I will say too,
Okay.
getting your
Do some
labs checked
people
is super helpful.
do some people like do their programs like let them stop taking it? Or do some people do that? I didn't
That's
know.
what
Like
some
for me,
patients will say. I've
really,
never talked to a professional that said that before, but I will say the
neither.
ASMBS, which is the American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, do
Yeah.
recommend lifelong vitamins. I'm putting the links for the calcium and the multivitamins in the chat feature. Larissa, there is a question. You mentioned exercise. Do you have, I hope it's okay. I'm
No,
doing
no,
these
that's
questions. So
great.
many people have so many great questions for you. Do you
Yeah.
exercise? Exercise is my mental savior. This person says, what types of exercise do you do?
Okay, yeah, exercise does make you feel better. What I basically do, guys, I just walk. I just move my body by walking and getting my steps in. I don't do anything crazy or anything like that. For me, I just walk. That's what I do. So I told you guys I shared a video the other day, like when I was at work or whatever. So I don't leave. I work, but I don't leave my job. Some people may go take a lunch break or whatever. I don't do that. So I just get up every like 1 to 2 hours usually and take a 10-minute walk because a little ADHD over here. I don't like doing the 30 minutes because then it feels like a chore. So I'm like, hey, if I break this up, it helps me. And then I kind of get to stretch my legs and move around, get the blood flow going again. I just get up and go take a 10-minute walk and then later do it. And I just do that, at least 3 to 4 times a day. Try to do more, but at least 3 to 4 times a day. And that's what I do.
Well, you kind of brought up a good example here too. You guys, you doesn't have to be 30 minutes at a time or an hour at a time. You can break
Yeah,
it up into short little increments. So I,
that
I love that
helps.
suggestion.
It
Um,
helps.
Joanne says, so going back to basics, what amount of calories should you be in at, especially when you can't eat much at this time? Does a lower calorie make your body hold on to weight? What has been your experience? Because I think sometimes that's a hard question to ask because everybody's individual.
Yeah, everybody's so individual with their calories. In the beginning, I really wasn't consuming a whole lot of calories. I was like, oh my gosh, how do you live? But have you guys ever watched oh my gosh, 6 7 pound life with Dr. Now? I've met him. He's great. But I remember him telling someone, he was like explaining his in like transactions or whatever in terms of like weight. And he said, he told this person, you've ate enough food to last you for 4 years without eating. And I was like, oh my gosh, like thinking about it in those terms or whatever. But like you got to follow whatever your surgeon tells you in the beginning. And it is not very many calories. But the difference is each stage, at least for me, I'm going to speak from my experience. You have stages and then you consume more food. I think that's what makes a difference. You wouldn't want to go long periods of time just eating small amounts of these calories. No, it was always constantly like this many months you'd eat this much. Then the next stage you'd eat a little more. And you were constantly making it bigger until you finally got to like your goal calories. And I don't share my calories And I'll tell you why, because people think they need to consume the calories I do to lose the weight I did. No. And I don't ever recommend anybody doing that. And I'm not a professional. I cannot tell you how many calories you should be consuming. I have to still ask for myself. But I think that's the difference with bariatric surgery. Yes, you start off with small amount, but you have a lot of changes going on in your body. You know, like you said, it makes a metabolic difference. But then you have stages. You just continue to increase the volume of food throughout. But I personally never experienced my body holding on to the weight except for if I wasn't hitting my water goals or wasn't hitting my protein goals. That's personal experience. But I will say on the but before I had bariatric surgery, there would be times when I wasn't eating enough calories and my body did hold on to the weight. So I have experienced that in other circumstances and other journeys of my life. So I will say that.
Do you think for you it's been helpful, Kathy? Actually, maybe that's to another participant about counting macros because somebody mentioned macros instead of
Oh,
calories.
okay.
But
Okay.
um, so Kristen says, have you ever felt like you stretched your stomach because you eat more than you think you should be able?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think everybody's felt that way. I've had the times where I freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was able to eat all that. Oh, I just ruined myself. I've ruined it. But I'll tell you from my experience, of course, like I said, over time, the stages, you were able to eat more and more and more until you eventually like, hey, this is kind of where we want to keep you. But my experience is soft liquid type foods, okay, like cottage cheese or soup, I can eat more of than I can of other things. Crunchy foods, your girl can put it away, okay? And that's been my experience. But then when it comes to like eating like steak and chicken, I really can't eat that much of it as compared to cottage cheese. So it makes a difference what you're eating. But yeah, and there's days when I get full really quick. And there's days I feel like a bottomless pit and I feel like I'm not getting full. So I have days like that, but yes, I've had the freak out moment and thought, oh my gosh, I ruined my tool. Sure, I had that.
And I think other people have said that same thing before. It
Yeah,
scares them, but I mean, the likelihood of that, guys, is so small. I mean,
yeah.
just
You'd
listening
have
to
to
bariatric
really,
surgeons.
yeah, I think you'd have to really consistently be, like, I think doing it a couple times here and there isn't going to make a huge difference. But if you're consistently pushing yourself, like it's going to be painful. You're consistently doing that. Yeah, you can, you know what I mean? But yes, I have those days too. So don't stress it too much.
I'm going to combine these two questions. So Tammy and Lisa ask questions about your recipes and cooking. So
Okay.
Tammy asked about a favorite cookbook. Is there anything you use for favorite recipes? And Lisa says she loves your recipes. How do you come up with some of the different things you put together?
Okay.
Sometimes she said sometimes they look gross, but they're good.
I know. Okay, so I don't really follow like any recipe books or anything. My dad is a really good cook, and I used to watch him, and my dad makes the weirdest stuff. Like people are like, what in the world is he doing? It's so weird. Um, but so I kind of that's where I come up with my concoctions like that. I just got it honestly from my dad, the concoctions. And I'm a food addict, okay? So we're always constantly thinking about, that might be good together. It's just a thing. But in terms of inspiration, sometimes for things, like I said, my food addiction really plays a big role in what I think might taste good. But sometimes I'll like see something and I'm like, oh, that sounds good. How can I make that better for me, like a little healthier? So sometimes that helps and gives me inspiration. But a lot of times it's my food addiction that's just like, thinking up concoctions. So, and my dad. So,
I love that. For me, it's Pinterest. I'd love to know, like, all of these
yeah,
people out there where their inspiration comes from. Sometimes it's not really that I even follow the recipe. It's just that, like, I maybe look at one of your recipes and I'm like, oh man, that looks so good. And then, it kind of just like gives you inspiration of things to
exactly.
try.
Exactly. It might, oh, well, I can take this and kind of make it my own like this because that sounds good, but I can make it different. Of course. Yeah.
Okay, here's the question that we talked about before this event. Would you ever think about doing a cookbook?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I really want to. I just haven't had the time, but I really, really, really hope to do one. kind of condense
Yeah.
all my recipes and get them somewhere where people can, easily access them. And there's a lot of other, I'm constantly keeping notes. Like yesterday, someone was talking to me and I immediately diverted and went to my phone because I don't know, they were talking to me and I thought of a recipe, like, something I wanted to make. And I had to instantly, as soon as it comes to my mind, I have my phone's just full of notes of things I want to make. I just never have the time.
Maybe
So,
you should hire someone just to put it together for you because they all they have to do is like look at your millions of posts that you have. And guys, this is a good segue to this. This is a good segue to this. Before I finish answering, because there's more and more questions, we're gonna like deviate here for just a second. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna share your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, and like share where people can find you. The reason
okay.
I want to do that is because I think it's so cool. Like we're talking about recipes, we're talking about this fun stuff, and this is a large amount of what you share, wouldn't you say, in your communities, like recipes and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to share coffees and other types of recipes, and I like easy stuff. I'm not like I can cook, but I'm just lazy, so I like to throw stuff together really quick.
Yes. So your Instagram is what we have pulled up here. It's
Okay.
underscore Rissy Rue underscore.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about this page?
Um, Not in particular. Honestly, a lot of my stuff, original posts come from my TikTok. And if you're ever looking for one of my protein coffee recipes
We'll
or
go
my
over to that.
recipes, yeah, the easiest way to find those, there's playlists up at the top, underneath my like bio, and should be a recipe playlist, and there's like a protein coffee playlist, something like that. But that's the easiest way to just go find some of my recipes that I have there. And I share my what I eat in a days. That's actually how I started my page, which is crazy. um I don't, maybe not always share those recipes, but I like to share my what I eat in a days for meal ideas that someone
Is
makes.
that in
Oh, yeah,
here?
I didn't think about doing that. Yeah, so my what I eat in a days, right there, um, those have meal ideas. Maybe give you a little inspiration or something. Oh, maybe I want to do that. So yeah,
Wonderful. So this is TikTok is Rissy underscore Rue underscore. And
yeah,
then you also have a Facebook page, which I'm going to pull up here
yes,
and show your before and after because it's hard. I was telling her, I said, we need to show your before and after because people just can't see it, like looking at you just
I
through these
know.
pictures.
I know. And I was telling Brenda, so why she's showing you guys that, if you are starting a journey, I don't care if you're having weight loss surgery or not, if you're just starting a journey, please take pictures of yourself. If you are anything like I was, I hated how I looked. So I didn't really take a lot of pictures. Every now and then I'd take a picture like on vacation, but I hated how I looked. So I'd never want anybody to take pictures of me. And I wish I had those pictures now to look back on. And I also, along your journey, take a picture of your progress, video recordings. I don't care what you do. I wish I had all that to look back on. I mean, I have some selfies and stuff to look back on, maybe a few pictures here and there, whatever, but nothing like I wish I had. I really didn't start recording my journey until I lost 180 pounds. But take the pictures. I promise, even though you don't like looking at them now, one day you will have so much, you'll be just so proud of yourself because you can look through that whole journey. I would take one every month. Do it.
Yeah, because I told Larissa my camera kind of gets crazy here a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. Um, I feel like a lot of times we're scared because maybe we don't want people to see that version of ourselves, but
Yeah.
it's one of the things somebody asked about non-scale victories. Like, what are some of your non-scale victories? Like, what would you say? Because sometimes it's in the clothing we wear or the how we're
Gosh,
able
yes.
to walk or move, or what are some of
Yes.
your biggest non-scale victories?
So I remember the first time that I could like wear jeans. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really couldn't find jeans that fit me or even like looked good. I couldn't like just go into store and like easily buy jeans. And I just remember getting into jeans. And then I had a goal like size 16 jeans. And then by the time I was able to fit in size 16, they were too big. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So that was an awesome non-skill victory. And then I took myself to Disney, and I was able to walk all around Disney without getting tired, and I was able to get on the rides, and that felt so good. Just little things like that. Little things we take for granted. No longer having to use a seatbelt extender in the car. That's a non-scale victory that felt great. That was one of the earlier ones, you know. And then you guys know, like I said, my biggest why was to be a mom. And I have got pregnant since, and those didn't work out, but that's still a victory for me. I got pregnant when before I never could have, you know what I mean? So those are just some of mine. I know I have lots more, but I'm telling you, nothing feels as good as a non-scale victory. I don't even care what that scale says. When you hit a non-scale victory, it beats anything that scale could ever say. So the feeling anyway.
Okay, there's a couple people that are saying, "Girl, make the time. We need that cookbook." I would totally buy it. So just know, Larissa, you just need to pay somebody to do it for you, like
I
put your
have someone
recipes
in mind. I
together.
never even thought about paying her to help me. She helps me do some other stuff, manage some things, and she's very helpful.
Yes.
So I guess I need to like, hey girl, can you help me out? So
Just have her help you do it. And like you can be in the because Larissa actually I did not know this. I thought she did this digital creation that she does on Instagram and all this and TikTok full time. You guys, she has a more than full-time job that she works. And so sometimes there's a bridge. Like we just have to ask for help.
yeah.
Um, okay. I love some of these things. And this is something we talked about before too. Somebody saying, "Do you attend WLS meetup things like the Dallas thing and such?" So I told her she needs to go with me to something this year.
Yes.
So she needs
Yes.
you guys invite her to events that you're going to.
Tell me when they are. I've never been to one. Never ever.
We need
Lordy.
to we need to party with you in person. Okay, let's see here. Um, oh my gosh, there's so many. Somebody loves your pink dress that you had in the picture. Can you
Oh,
tell us
thanks.
anything about this pink?
Shein. That's where that dress is from. It's
Okay.
cheap. It's cheap too.
Okay, there is some questions about like plastics, and I know that was one of the
Yeah.
questions that we kind of talked about. Tell us
Yeah.
what is your thinking about that?
Okay, so I have never had any skin removal surgery. And I know some people, that is one of the first questions that I get asked a lot. I'm very blessed, very thankful that my body has done what it's done through my weight loss. But listen, I'm able to hide that loose skin. Okay, I keep it concealed. I don't let her flop out. But she's there, trust me. But no, I haven't had any skin removal yet. In terms of what it looks like in the future, I have really, really, really thought about it because without it, I'll never have my dream body, if you will. But like I said, I'm on a journey to eventually become a mom. And so it's just not my number one priority right now. Will I ever do it? I don't know. Maybe, but it's not my priority right now just because, the clock's ticking for me. So I don't want to waste any more time in terms of that. I wasted a lot of years of my life. I had a meltdown. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Brenda, I told you to get on tangents. I
Hey,
literally
go for
had a
it.
meltdown a while back. And I said, because I felt like I wasted so many years of my life being obese. And it made me so angry at myself. I finally just started getting my life back these last 2 years. And it has been great and amazing. But then I think back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I lost so much life being obese. I missed out on so many things, so many opportunities, and I get angry with myself sometimes. I need to learn to be a little forgiving of myself because I made the changes, but I get angry at myself sometimes when I think about how much I've missed out on because of food addiction. Food controlled my whole life. But sorry for that tangent. I had to get that out there.
No, I love it.
but
In fact,
but yeah, no
I do.
skin
I get
removal
angry
yet,
at
and I
myself
I don't
sometimes.
know.
Well, I love it. In fact,
But yeah, no,
sorry, the
you're
background noise.
fine.
Apologize.
Removal yet, and I don't know.
Can you hear
But yeah,
me?
yep, I can hear you.
I
But yeah,
I was
skin
posting
removal, I
on
don't know.
Facebook, but it was me the live feed. So sorry about that.
You're fine.
It was
You're
the
fine.
background noise. I wanted to post. So a couple people have asked, how do they find you? We mentioned your your IG page, your TikTok page. So I'm posting the links for those, but I also want to say Larissa is actually a affiliate of our sponsor, ProCare Health, the vitamins that she mentioned, and you can actually save using her affiliate code. And I have the link and her code, which is Larissa10. If you're listening to the replay as opposed to just the live event, know that you guys, that'll be in our description of the event itself. So that is there. Sorry about that, Larissa.
You're fine.
It was a little, um, I'm trying to
Yes,
think.
someone
We have,
Michelle on here said be careful which pages you follow. Yes. So guys, my main account where I started it all is TikTok. So go find me on TikTok. And from TikTok, there is a link tree in my bio. And if you click on that, it has all my pages are linked on there. So you can find my Instagram, you can find my Facebook. And one thing I will tell you is my Instagram is verified. Okay. So if you go find my verified Instagram, and my Facebook is linked to that too. And I even have like a pinned post on my Facebook page that tells you how you verify that it's really me. So just make sure you are finding the right me. It will take you to my verified Instagram. They're connected. You'll understand what I'm saying when you go look at that post. But they're in my link tree when in doubt.
yeah. Thank you. So thank you for sharing that because, and some people had asked, I don't know if anybody jumped on late. If you guys want to come back and listen to this entire event in its entirety, if you're on the live event, this will be on replay. Let me show them real quickly. And then I know we have another. Let me take one more question because there's one more question. There's two more questions actually. Let's take both of these questions and then we're gonna share some more about your links and stuff. So Jessica says, I'm really close to getting a sleeve done, but my mind is working against me and saying, if I just do this workout, I can lose weight. And for many years thought these are happening. This thoughts also happened to my sister that had gastric bypass and she doesn't regret it. So my question is the same. Is this a normal thought or feeling? Like
Gosh, yeah. Yeah.
for
I had
sure.
I had a lot of I think we kind of brushed on this question earlier, but I went through the same thing. So like, well, I can do this myself. I can do it. And I did for a while until I just couldn't anymore. Um but and that was one of the questions I was looking at my thing, like, did I have any regrets? I have absolutely no regrets. And besides, I lied. I wish I would have done it way sooner. That is the only regret I have. But I've definitely been in the mindset that she has, and I can just do this myself. But truthfully, you want to know where it really came from? Fear. It came from fear. Because weight loss surgery scared me. That's basically what it came down to. So, but no regrets here. So,
So do you take any supplements for your hair, skin, and nails?
Um, I don't. I've taken some like collagen and biotin here and there, but I didn't really notice a difference. So no, and y'all, these are extensions. I ain't gonna play with you. This is not my real hair. This is up here, but I've lost a ton of hair. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it comes back. I lost it like 3, 4 months out. It was a little terrifying, I'm not gonna lie, but I've never had very thick hair anyway. It's always been kind of thin. So yeah, my hair's been a journey, but yeah, I don't take anything. No.
It is beautiful, by the way. And we
Thanks.
have Sherry who says, have you ever seen a therapist?
Yes. Yeah, so I had to see a therapist for 6 months before like I got my weight loss surgery. How to explain this? So through my insurance, I had to meet with a nutritionist and a therapist for 6 months. And so yeah, I met with my therapist for 6 months. After surgery, I met with her a little bit. So yes, I have.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to tie this up. And before we do that, do you have any closing thoughts from a standpoint of what you shared about your journey, maintaining all of that?
Um, So I guess my closing thought would be like I just want to kind of like for anybody that's thinking about starting a journey or even on it, and maybe you're just not that far in, kind of like I told you earlier, please take pictures. even if you don't plan to share it, do it for yourself. Just always remember that you are not too far off the wagon to get back on. You will have ups, you will have downs, you will have times you fall off the wagon. I thought I could never fall off the wagon. Yes, ma'am, I did. It's going to happen to the best of us. Okay. Just get back on. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up too bad. And just never give up. Okay. And just keep going. I feel like I had something else, but it has escaped me.
You'll think of it because we're not quite finished here yet. We're
Okay.
not
Okay.
100% finished. So at the end of these, we usually try to do like a little kickoff for our sponsor, which is ProCare Health. And so one thing that we have, like we try to share new products, new different inspiration, do different things. And guys, what I have here is I have a little picture here. I'm gonna share my screen. One thing that I have here before we go to the ProCare site is if anybody has a hard time taking medications and supplements due to smell, we actually have a new little product. It's out. It's called a sensor. It's kind of a fun little thing. So we have them in orange flavor, peppermint, and then a vanilla flavor. And what they are is they're little soft tablets that go inside a medication bottle. It could be your vitamins, it could be your calcium, it could be whatever medications you take on a normal basis. And it adds a pleasant fragrance to that, which enhances your experience. So it doesn't necessarily take over the flavor, but it does kind of just enhance it and make it better. In that, I'm going to share here from the ProCare website where to find those. So procarenow.com under our products. And when you go into there, there's an extra button. And when you click on that extra button, it is one of the products listed on that page, which they're called sensors. So that's a fun little thing. It's kind of right here. So we have that. And I also just want to kind of share too, guys, with ProCare Health, some of the products that Larissa mentioned under our products button, the bariatric multivitamins, and our calcium supplementation. So if I click onto bariatric multivitamins, I go to that page. And Larissa was talking about the one-a-day multivitamins with 45
Yeah.
of iron,
Yep.
capsule formula, I think.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
We do have a chewable, but we also have the prenatal formula that she talked about, whether you're considering conception and a lot of times people will start that a year before that or stay on them while they're pregnant and then also post um, you know, being pregnant, that type of thing. So we do have a prenatal formula, and that's 2 a day instead of 1 a day. And then if I go up to the products that you mentioned under calcium supplements, my computer's just a tiny bit slow today for some reason. Which of these were you talking about? Sea salted caramel, maybe? Cinnamon
Yeah, so
roll?
the cinnamon roll is amazing. It's one of my favorites. The sea salt caramel is really good. The mocktail's really great also. And then the calcium dark chocolate bars, amazing. Love them.
And those are down here. Those are seasonal, so we have them during our cooler months. So those are in right
Get them
now.
now. Get them now. They're so good.
And absolutely. And use code Larissa10 because you're going to save 10%, right, Larissa?
Yeah. Who doesn't want to save money?
It's all about saving money. And then I also just want to show you, so Bari Connected is what you guys are listening to here. It's our newest podcast. If you go under the ProCare tab, it says Bari Connected, and you go down on that page, you guys, you're going to see all of the events for each month. This month we're in January, so we have the events for January, and Larissa's event is on there. So if you click that, it'll get you onto the on-demand event now that'll be playing till the end of the month. We also do have, here's a support group that I just talked about. That's on replay as well. We have a podcast called Bari Connected. So if you're a listener and you like doing your thing while you're walking or in the car, great way to listen to replays. We also have a YouTube channel, which you can click onto the link there. And we have a ProCare Health vitamins and supplements. If you follow us there, that um, you can get new releases as they come out. So if you subscribe to that, you can get access there. We have over 190 videos. So that's a fun way to kind of stay in the loop. And then I also want to just say we actually just started a Facebook page that's called, click off of this here because we're on the event itself. If you click on to Bari Connected, Bari Connect is our Facebook page. Bari Connected is our, sorry, it's taking a second, is our Facebook group. You can actually ask to join that. And that is a fun place to be able to connect with us after these events and that type of thing. So connect with us there. You have to ask to join. Do that. And then also connect with Larissa on her Instagram page, which is Rissy Rue. Her TikTok page, which is Rissy Rue. You have to kind of look here on these, may have a little underscores here. And
Yeah,
then her
sorry.
Facebook page, which is Larissa Krebbs. Make sure you get the right one on that too as well. So stop sharing my screen. That was a lot. There's so many little comments. Larissa, they love you. And
Oh, thank you. I love you guys. I would not be here talking about my journey if all you did not let me share my journey. So I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. And like I said, a lot of you motivate and inspire me. You tell me I motivate you, you motivate me. So honestly, so what did we, I wanted to recap what we said. We said, you're never too far off the bandwagon to get back on. So never give up. What was the other thing that I said? In case some people joined us late, like my brain squirrel, right? I wanted to mention this, and we didn't talk about this real quick before we leave, because just for somebody who may or may not have had weight loss surgery yet, you will realize that it's not even the physical change is huge, but you have a really, really, really big emotional change. And sometimes the emotional aspect is harder than the physical. And sometimes it will take a long time for this chick or dude to catch up to the body. So don't be surprised if you experience that, because I still experience it. I sometimes walk by a mirror and don't recognize myself. My body has still sometimes not caught up, and sometimes I still see myself as a 400-pound person. I think that's normal. It takes a long time for our brains to catch up. But yeah, I just want to put it out there. Just never, ever, ever give up on yourself. Okay, that's super important. Like I said, I want to push that. I don't care how far you are off the bandwagon. Just please never give up. And I'm speaking to myself when I say that too. Just as much
I
as I'm
love
telling
that.
you.
I love that. I'm writing that in the comment section because that's
Yes.
a great takeaway. Because no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're pre-op, whether you're a month post-op, 6 months, a year,
Yep.
10
Yep.
years, never, ever, ever give up
No.
on yourself.
No.
And
You've come too far.
oh, we got a really nice comment on Facebook too. She applauds us for being committed to our journeys and helping others with theirs. So it is, guys. We're learning right along with you guys, and we're
Yes.
thank you. And here Larissa's drinking her water, so it never ends, guys. Just keep up those habits. Keep up those
Yeah.
things. We're
Keep those
family.
habits. Oh, but yeah, and that was what I forgot. It was never give up. In that first year, give yourself 100%. I promise you, you'll never, ever, ever regret it. Do it. Do it. It's a hard sacrifice, but I'm telling you, it's worth it.
And somebody says delicious Rissy Roo recipes to try at home. Follow. Yes. Keep those recipes coming and
I will.
inspiration.
I wish I could. I wish I could make more, but I don't eat that much, so it's hard to make different recipes all the time.
These are
But
your
yeah,
lifestyle too. It's not just about like these are like this is your life. Like
yeah.
it's not just you're not just sitting at home doing just this content creation. These are your
No.
recipes that you're using it in your everyday lifestyle.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you everybody. And Larissa, thank you so much again for being with us
Thanks for
and
having me.
everybody being here. So much love. And
Thank you.
guys, have a great day. Hopefully you got some great takeaways from Larissa and we love you. Stay tuned
Yes.
and come back and listen. Listen again.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.